So today I want to do a little bit of an overview of my current film camera collection, and I don't really like calling it a collection. I'm not collecting them. I just like shooting with them, and so I end up having a lot of them, and I end up selling a lot because I want to try new ones. And so that's why I have a rotating collection of cameras, but I do keep a few for myself. Anytime I find one that's just pristine and perfect, and the historian in me wants to preserve it, so I put it away. I wrap it in some bubble wrap or something. Like, I've got an F3, I didn't even bring it out. I wrapped it up, I store it because it's pristine. I have a brand new F3, and there's never going to be a new F3 made, right? You never know, but there's not going to be a new F3 made, and I don't want to ruin it. And cameras are meant to be used, but I can get an F3 if I really want one that's beat up and use that. I don't care how my camera looks if I'm using it. So today I'm going to go through just a few of my cameras. I'm going to show you guys sort of one from each camera type that I have, although one will not be represented, and that is I didn't bring out a 35mm manual focus SLR. So we're in no order because I have the Pentax 6.7 right in front of me. The Pentax 6.7 is my go-to interchangeable lens medium format camera. It's the only 6x7 I have. I love it. I like the format. I prefer a bit wider. I really want to get a 6x9 one day. I have my eyes on the Fuji rangefinders, but I don't have one yet. But this guy, if I want to shoot film as I would shoot professional photography, I use this. And I do bring this on jobs with me just to have it in my bag. So next up for my medium format cameras would be a Rolleiflex 6x6. This is a 3.5 version. I don't have the 2.8. Yeah, sure, I'd like a 2.8, but am I really going to shoot at 2.8? Probably not, so I don't mind the 3.5. This is actually one of my favorite cameras I've ever used because I'll say it again. This is actually one of my favorite cameras I've ever used because it's such a different experience than using a rangefinder or an SLR, and I really, really enjoy it. I love carrying it around. It's discreet and light and beautiful, and also the 6x6 format. Shooting square is a different experience that you have to get used to. Certain rules of composition don't quite work with 6x7, so you have to rely on different things. All right, next. Okay, next. This guy here, another one of my favorite cameras I own, the 1V. This is basically Canon's best SLR they ever made. It's the equivalent of a 1DX, but this is the last one they made in the 1 series before they switched to digital. If anyone has a Canon collection of lenses, I highly recommend this camera. I mean, the images are going to be stunning because if you're using top quality Canon glass like I am. I put pro lenses on it and it is crisp. The only image quality I think that's rivaled it would be coming from, at least in a 35mm format, would be coming from my M3. Now, the M3 I have not shot with as much as I'd like. Interesting story about how I got my M3. I'm a little crazy. Maybe you know that if you know me personally. I don't know. The M3, I bought this online and I didn't know if it would work. So I bought it for $1,000, which I thought was pretty good for an M3 based on the condition it was in. But I didn't know if it would work. But I buy a lot of cameras online. That's my trick. I buy them online from people that don't know if they work. I developed a hunch, I could kind of just tell when they would work or not. Or you do your research and you find out if they think it's when they think it's broken, but you do your research, and if how they describe it is actually a symptom of something simple like not having a battery, you usually will have a good idea it works. I know a lot of people wouldn't want to do that, but I've bought so many cameras and so many have worked, and when I've shot them, I will often, it says I have 25 frames on it, but I don't even have a lens on it. That's weird. Anyway, so this camera has been a joy to use. The hype is real. It's worth it. I mean, I compare, after getting this camera, I compare the quality of like the builds of cameras to this every time. If the Leica M3 is a 10, you know, that's pretty much the top. As I said, the Leica 3, the images I've gotten out of it have rivaled the Canon 1V, but that would be because of the lens I used, not the actual camera. You guys have to remember, you don't change the quality of the film really. If you're a Tri-X in a Leica M3, is Tri-X in a Canon 1V, what matters is the glass. You will have a different approach to getting the shot. You will have different quality of light. You'll have different quality of life improvements, meaning, you know, it'll be easier to get certain shots with certain cameras, like the Canon 1V with its great autofocus and its fast burst speed for its time. You'll get great action stuff. It will be a bigger challenge shooting action with a Leica M3, of course. But the Voigtlander 50-1.5 I used on it was just beautiful. Of course, Leica lenses are beautiful, but I really thought that Voigtlander was right up there, like most people say, and it was beautiful, tack sharp, wide open. I shot a lot of stuff. I'll pop it up on the screen actually, and really tack sharp. All right, next we have sort of my folding camera gateway drug, and that would be the Vito II. It's definitely, I don't think, the best folding camera out there, but after getting this camera, I wanted more. I still haven't gotten them. If you're not familiar with folding cameras, basically the lens will fold right up into the camera. And so you just press a button on the bottom and you pull it out, and then you're good to go. Speaking of unique shooting experiences, this camera has no viewfinder. It's got a viewfinder. It's not an actual rangefinder or SLR. It's a hole in the camera, basically. And you have to set everything on the lens, so you have your shutter speed and your aperture and all that. And it's kind of fun shooting almost blind. And it is, my composition has been off. I've noticed using the viewfinder that I often crop high, so what I thought would be in the scene on the bottom is not there. It's been a problem, I suppose, but whatever. After getting this camera, I really want to get like a Mamiya 6 or any medium format folding camera would be a lot of fun. I will also say the look of the images that have come out of this have been very interesting. It definitely has character, and I've enjoyed that. All right, what else do we have? Last one I brought out, although I have many others. I think I have Canon AE1s, a program. I have a Pentax K1000. I have an X370. It's like the baby X700, or I think it's 370. And I don't have my actual favorite SLR because I sold it, which may have been a mistake, but I wanted to shoot with some new stuff, and so I got rid of it. I figured I'd pick one up later down the line because they don't go for much because they're highly underrated, and that would be the XE7. And after I made my video, I'm not taking credit, but after I made my video about the XE7, which is one of the most viewed videos of mine, the prices went up, and I don't think it's because of me, but it's unfortunate. All right, last camera I want to share today would be my Rollei 35. This is just a cool camera. I mean, it is tiny. It will fit in your pocket. The lens doesn't fold, but it does retract into the camera. Everything's laid out brilliantly, so when you look down at the camera, you have your shutter, you have your aperture, and then you have basically your distance scale, and you can tell the camera how far you want to focus. So it's a challenging camera to use, but the engineering of it is just incredible. The viewfinder is bright and beautiful. It has your framing lines, and it's one of my favorite cameras to use, and the lens is incredible. I've loved the images that have come out of it. All right, that's it for today. If you guys are interested in hearing about more of my cameras, let me know below. If you guys are enjoying my film-related content, please subscribe. It's what I'm passionate about. I want to keep producing it. I'm not making money from it. I'm doing it because I love it, and I want to share that with you guys. So I will see you in the next video, hopefully.